Hello, hello. Hello, me. Say something if you exist as a human. Alright. Just getting some things set up here. No, that's not how you do it. Hmm. Hmm. Wow. No, I seem to have broken that. That's good. Okay. Guess we'll just do a display capture. And if we're going to do that, might as well just do that. But we can't really do that. Duh. Because I want to be able to see the chat. So we'll just go back to here. Hello, Deidre. Sorry. How you doing today? I'm just sitting here. Have no idea. Uh-oh. I have no idea what I'm doing. Can you still hear me? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I see the things going. Glad to see you. Thanks for coming. I don't know what's going on. I shaved. Looking that skinny and old. You know. But I don't know, the big bushy goatee being all white was kind of had me looking old too, so I don't know. Think what I'll do. Yeah, let's do that. Let's pop over here. That'll be a thing that we can do. That's worrying. Where did my mighty kind stuff go? I don't know. I'm scared. Okay. Oh. Yeah, I might have to do that. Let's see. Oh, hey, I moved it. Okay. So, if you're still here, I'm going to listen to, let's do this. I'll see if I can add this real quick. As you can tell, I have no idea what I'm doing. It's pretty obvious. That's okay, though. So let's see. Can I do it this way? I don't know. Can you hear this? Please let me know if you can hear it. This is my band, The Mighty Kind, from 1996. I'm playing bass.
Another day goes by, another month, the year is passing. I put a lot of thought in it, and I'm still asking. I can't explain in a way you'd understand. It's a been in vain. It's another work of plan, better left alone. And it's just mighty Joe pain, bottled up those emotions.
We were sloppy.
From the pain it caused me, can't get away from the nightmares they still haunt me. Where am I to go with a head full of uncertainty? I want you to know, she said to me, 'cause I can't explain in a way you'd understand. It's been in vain, it's another working plan, better left alone. And it's just mighty Joe pain, bottled up those emotions. Hey.
Don, welcome. I don't understand why George Floyd would have liked it. I don't know. Maybe it's a white man beating himself up. I don't understand. 'Cause I'm only mostly white. Don't get me twisted. The part I wish I could claim is my Native American. But it's wintertime. And I'm a little pasty. There we go. Yeah, it's a little better. Not quite as shiny and wrinkly. Yeah, still quite wrinkly. Monkey balls. It's still a little hot. Does that sound okay to you guys? I mean, it might suck, but is the audio at least conveying the appropriate suckage to you?
What you said, feelings of sweet pain and regret at night. Can for the life of me figure out where we went wrong. On the pain and buried. In other words, land
Better left alone.
and it just might ease your pain, but I know those emotions I can't explain. Something in vain, better left alone. Better left alone.
Yeah, we sucked. Oh, wait. Stop. Same song again. Don't want that. Hello. This one is our instrumental. It's called Blue. That's the only thing. It was like a code name kind of thing. You know, we didn't know what to call it, and you know, it was like, it's kind of hillbilly. It's kind of, I don't know. I mean, you know, I'm a big Rush fan, so that part of it, I definitely overdid on the bass part. I overdid everything. In my younger days, I was very proud of myself, and I shouldn't have been. But I pushed myself to my physical limits, the limits of my fingers, the limits of my muscle memory. And I just tried to do, you know, best as I could. So let's check it out. Hopefully somebody's still here. If not, then Don and Deidre, I'm really glad that you came by. Let's listen to Blue. Too much. Too fast. We were rushing this one. Not like doing it like Rush would, but I mean like the tempo. So, what'd you guys think? I'll wait. Folks, I'm struggling. I ain't gonna lie. Between the anxiety of, I've gotten to the point where I've got so much anxiety about looking for a job or working. That job that I had for a while really broke me. I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back to work. I don't want to work. And I have to. I have to. We're about to, I mean, everything's about to fall apart. Financially and every way else. My wife's been as supportive as she can, but I mean, I can't tell her that I'm terrified to go back and get a job and go into the workforce and get treated like that again and be done that way. I can't, you know, I can't afford any kind of therapy or anything. And I'm so disappointed in myself. That I can't stand it. Anyway, this next song called Grand Delusion, not Grand Illusion. That's another song. We didn't even know that other song existed back in the day, so you'll have to forgive me or forgive us for our, ignorance. This is Grand Delusion, and
Woke up this morning, think I'm still asleep. Why I'm alive, a complete
that's why it's so quiet.
So where's my head? Just a part of my confusion, just a better half of my grand delusion. Paint me a picture, reach out to me, show me the future is not so empty. My state of mind, just a page of misery, just trying to wait till all I'm free. A stroke of anger crossed my youth. Said I know what it feels. I said to feel the truth. Sometimes it's hard to simply live with my wills and emotions. I simply cannot give. Paint me a picture, reach out to me, show me the future is not
That's
so
so empty.
My state of mind, just a page of misery, just trying to wait till all I'm free. Don't disappoint me, my suffering, don't mind me. I'm just a singing the blues, my soul let down, didn't mean a thing, but I'll be alright. Can I forget about you, baby? I will forget about you, yeah. We'll forget about you, yeah. About you. my children, my children.
So much extra in the bass. We should have been less worried about the future being empty than what the future was full of. Y'all still exist? Are y'all out there? Probably not. I don't blame you. Went over to a manufacturing place earlier and told, oh no, you have to apply online. Okay. That's why I shaved, so I could go look pretty for people, and that didn't work out. My old chair here. I got it for like $15, $20. So I ain't gonna complain. Such a cheap bastard. Oh, excuse me. Such a cheap bastage. Farganizer. You guys remember Johnny Dangerously? I rewatched that the other day. Excuse me, my psoriasis is kicking. I'm gonna put some lotion on. The diet's helping with the psoriasis, but you know, it's less, but it's still there. You know, it's better, but you know, I'm not cured by any stretch of the imagination. Every once in a while, I gotta lotion up. Never gotten a live chat, or what super chat. Is that what it is? I don't even know if I can. I think I've got it turned on. The thing says. Now would be a good time to get something like that, but I ain't gonna ask for that, man. Y'all are so good to me, just coming and checking me out. You know, I might have to check and see if this is even working. Checking me out. Don, welcome. I don't understand. So yeah, it's working. That's good. That's good. I like it when it works. Don, welcome. I don't understand. We got a like. Wow. Go for me. Go, Brad. Woo. Wonder why it won't tell me how many people are watching. I think that's kind of weird. Whatever. Let's get back to it. Thank you guys for hanging out for my idiocy and my silliness. Let's jump back in. This is a song called Hooked. I like this one. Wish we were in a little better tune for it. But this is a song, yeah, like most of our songs, it was weird. But this was kind of had some pretty cool elements to it. So let's jump in and check it out.
Take your vow. It's a piece of confrontation. Draw you in the mouth, forgot the moment. Behind the cold. You hit it out strong and now you're not so bold. To the pain you used to move and now goes to stride. But still you wonder why. You're satisfied. Satisfied, baby.
Way too many harmonics. Later, as the song progressed, I cut that to a specific spot in each iteration. It's a tritone, that's a tritone chord. that was Hooked. Have no idea, you know. Eventually, I'll listen to the lyrics of these songs that we wrote and figure out what they're about. But you know, why would I do that? I'm a bass player. I don't care what the song's about. I just care that I'm a badass. And you know, I did myself in. Now this is a song. This is a song that we're going to talk about. I'll tell you the story leading up to how this song came to be. This song called Human Condition. Now, one morning, after a night of, you know, debauchery, the guitar player and I was sharing an apartment, and we were laying in the bed. Well, I was laying in my bed. He was laying in his. Don't get me twisted. And we left our apartment door open, even though it was Dallas, Texas, and in one of the worst apartment complexes and the cheapest apartment complex in Dallas, Texas. So it was kind of a rough area, a rough neighborhood, if you will. And, you know, we didn't care. You know, we were the two white dudes, and, you know, nobody messed with us. Everything was cool, you know. We drove a big van that said "I like to pick and grin" on the side of it, and so they were like, "These hillbillies ain't got no money," and that was true. But what we did have was a bunch of musical instruments, and another thing that we had was a lot of crazy friends. And one of our crazy friends, he comes in a fur coat and wakes me up, and he's got like 3 or 4 girls with him. He was looking like a pimp. And he takes this chocolate powder in a little package about yay big, and he says, "Open your mouth." And I woke up and I was like, "What?" He's like, "Open your mouth." I was like, "What is it?" He goes, "It's chocolate. You'll like it." I said, "Okay." He said, "Now don't go anywhere for, you know, an hour, and then, you know, you won't want to go anywhere." I was like, "Okay." So it turned out to be a derivative of something out of a cactus. And so you guys probably know what that is if you know things. And yeah. And then he went and did the same thing to the guitar player. And then he just left. He was like, "Okay, my work here is done. You guys have a good time. I'll see you when I see you." Now, the thing is, I can see that guy's face right now, but I can't remember his name for anything. And he was such a cool guy, you know. He was just kind of you know, hey, these guys will appreciate that. We didn't know what we appreciated or not. So what we ended up doing, I got up, put some clothes on, went over and knocked on the guitar player's door and said, "So are you up?" And he's like, "Yeah, apparently I'll be further up later." I was like, "Oh, you too? Yeah, okay. Let's get the instruments out." And so we got the instruments out. In about an hour, we were well on our way to wherever it was our brains were going without us. But we were playing this song. And I started doing this, you know, kind of thing. And he was, And it was just so jazzy, you know. We were like, yeah, yeah. And I was doing this weird finger thing where I was dragging these two fingers like across the strings at the same time, so and you'll hear it. But we played this particular riff for about 4 hours before we said, hey, and we're just playing this riff. I mean, just, I was like, we need to add another riff. And he's like, yeah, so figure something out. I was like, okay, you know, and so then I put this little, you know, kind of jazz descent into it, you know, and we sat and we wrote an entire song over the course of about 8 hours. When I was back down to being on the ground again, I wrote some lyrics to it, and those were slightly modified later, but I mean nothing, you know, no drastic changes. The vocalist, when we finally got our vocalist, he came in and made a couple of lyrical changes, but just like a word, you know, just the way he interpreted it, and you know, just some things. So anyway, this is The Human Condition, and I think it's pretty cool. So let's see what you guys think.
Condition, but you got to make a choice. To burn up the fire and burn in the fire, yeah. Speak out with your voice, oh love.
That's my favorite part.
Broken hearts, they will mend.
How'd you guys think? Nope. So what'd y'all think? Was that weird? Was that cool? Was it weird and cool? Was it jazz metal? Was it some kind of funky fusion? What was it? I don't know. We can't ever figure it out. You know, it was definitely a elevated consciousness experiment in things. And I don't know what you'd call it, Mudshark. Hey, glad to see you, man. You've been around for a while in the channel, and dude, I appreciate you. You've always got some good comments on the Rush stuff, some of the other stuff, man. You know, awesome, awesome. Glad to see you here. But yeah, I don't know what it is. It's kind of a fusion thing. I don't know, man. Like I say, it was a state of elevated consciousness, and I don't know if we actually played that or if we just channeled it from some other realm. Um, it was it was funky, you know. I mean, that middle part where it goes all you know, crazy. I love playing that part, and then where we rush it, you know. I mean, the tempo goes bam, and we just ramp up the tempo and go crazy, and then doop doop ba-doodle doodle. And my job was with my badoodle doodle was to reset the tempo back down to the you know let's come in for a landing here. um yeah, that sounded really distorted. I don't know why. To me, I mean, maybe it was just in mine. I don't know. It sounded really kind of, you know, the whole thing was overdriven. But yeah, another thing, our drummer, man, when we brought this to him, he was just like, okay, I love it. This is weird, and I love it. And so our drummer was 10, 15 years older than we were, and he just, oh, absolutely was a murderer. I mean, you can tell in some of this stuff. I mean, he's just so good, and we're, young and just so aggressively musical, I mean, just wanted to do it all. But yeah, yeah, and the singer Jason Swetnam, man, yeah, it was like he was a huge Jim Morrison fan, a huge Danzig fan. He was really big into Danzig. Um, it is fun. It was, oh man, just an awesome, fun thing to play. Just, kind of like that lounge, jazz that you hear. And we were just, I don't even know, man. It just I came out of doing things, and we were just having fun. But yeah, Jason Swetnam, the vocalist, I'm surprised that he didn't carry on after us when the band broke up, because he was just so good. He had his couple of his own songs. I'll play one of those here in a minute that he wrote, and it was just so good. So yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad you enjoyed it. But yeah, let's move on to the next one now. This has less of a backstory. Maybe, I don't know, which one are we going to listen to? Oh, Never Change. This was the first song that we actually wrote together. The first one that we put together. The second one was Blue, and that was that instrumental that I played earlier. So yeah, just like, what? All of a sudden, the middle part where you're like, boop, and it just goes off. Yeah, unexpected stuff is fun. Never Change is another one that has some I don't know, kind of southern rock blues influence. But then once again, I'm a big Rush fan, so everything that I tried to do on the bass was overdone. Way too much. My opinion now, as a grown person who's listened to more music and experienced a little more life, I think I tried to jam too much bass into it because I was trying to be, you know, up here in the leagues of Geddy and Les Claypool and Billy Sheehan and all these monsters, and I'm like, I'm the next monster, and I was not the next monster. So let's jump in. Never Change. I really enjoy this one too. Oh, that's not what in the world. Good Lord, that was the one.
Thinking about the future and what it holds for you and me. Floating on the roof of the sky, we feel so high and free. No, this is not the right way, flying down that wicked road. Come on, baby, finish your game, wearing that funky shit on your crown. Hey. Feel the pain, see the blood, smell the sweat running down your back. All the things I say, never a word. It's from my addiction, yeah. Comes my affliction. But some things never change, yeah. Never change. Thinking about the future and what it holds for you and me. Floating on the roof of the sky, we feel so high and free. These are my friends, moon and the sky. Light a candle and see that we are one and the same. People always watching you and me. I feel your heartbeat deep in my soul. Your love save me from the cold. These are my friends, moon in the sky. Light a candle and see that we are one and the same.
Oh yeah, dude. Thank you. Oh my God. City of Tiny Lights. The City of Tiny Lights. Where you want to go, or something like that. Oh yeah. Thank you. Boy, that's high praise right there. But yeah, it was just some another. That was one that was, like I say, that's the first one that we put together. And it was just a bunch of riffs that we had goofed around with in the apartment. Just doing whatever, and we just basically took a bunch of stuff that we were that we had played separately, just little riffs that we had made up while we were jamming, just these elaborate jam sessions, not really elaborate, but, long, stupid, playing the same riff for an hour kind of thing. And then we'd say, hey, well, let's take this riff. And we named the riffs, so that we'd know which riff was what. And sometimes we just lost them because we didn't name them, and we were, generally we were enhanced humans. And, we had that Tao philosophy of better living through chemicals. And we just threw these things together, and said, hey. And so, yeah, I had just been a music major for 2.5 years in college. I dropped out and, got a real job. And then we said, hey, let's move to Dallas, because I was in Conway, Arkansas at that point, going to the University of Central Arkansas. And that's where we met, me and the guitar player. We met our drummer. And so, yeah, our first drummer, Brian, we had Brad, Brian, and Brian. And little Brian was the drummer. And, the guitar player in Brian, he was like, yeah, let's move to Dallas with Brian. Brian's going to move to Dallas. So let's follow him down there. I was like, man, I don't know. He's a great guy and a wonderful human, but, he's not a drummer worth following, in my opinion. And he's like, yeah, but there's more better drummers down there. And I was like, okay. So we went down there and we kicked Brian out of the band, and he stayed friends with us. And actually him and the drummer, that we picked up named Paul Vaughn, ended up like living together for a while. And, they hit it off, and, started really having a great time, and Paul was, like I say, Paul was 10 years older than the rest of us. And so he was just so much better, because he had been playing since he was, a wee lad. And so, yeah, we really lucked out when we told Brian. I said, hey, man, we found a new drummer, and nothing against you. It's just this dude is fucking awesome. So we'd like for you to come and listen to him so that you know why. And when he was done listening, he was like, man, I understand completely. I appreciate you guys handling it the way you did. I mean, and so we stayed friends. We always hung out. We jammed and just he'd come to, one rehearsal a week sometimes, just to hang out and hear how we were doing. So it was a great thing. But all that being said, we just kind of put all this stuff together. But comparing us to Zappa, wow. I was listening to a lot of it at that point, listening to a lot of everything at that point, man, just my ears were hungry. I was just listening to everything, trying to find new and exciting ways to do things, One of the most influential albums that I listened to at that time was Eat 'Em and Smile by David Lee Roth. And if you've never heard that, which I'm sure you have, man, Billy Sheehan on that album, him and Steve Vai. I mean, it's Steve Vai and Billy Sheehan, so you know that there's going to be some musicianship happening. And Elephant Gun, if you guys have never heard that, that's another one that's like, what? I tried to do that and it got blocked. It got blocked. I mean, the audio just absolutely blocked. Whoa, hey. I need to clean up my desk. Oh. So anyway, let's jump into the next one. Once again, this is from 2006. So this is one that the lyrics were written, I don't know, I can't remember. I think this was Jason Swetnam too. I think he was the originator of the riffs in this one, but I'm not sure. I can't remember. It's been, well, it was 1996, so yeah, it's been a minute. So let's listen to Shy Soul. And this is one of those gonna get in the britches songs. No, this is Brian.
You lost momentum, you lost your stride.
Two-handed tapping.
And you lost your mind. So no more feeling, this heart's gone cold. No more believing, the storm is getting home.
I fell off the wagon there.
You just got to believe when you won't get that far.
What happened? What happened to camera? There we go.
What did
you see? Shy soul.
In me, I must hide in your mystery. Shy soul. So now open up to me, baby. Open up to me, baby. With one hand on the breath, the other's on the steel. And if nothing else, babe, I know your pain was real. And I know sometimes kinda hard to carry on. Just give it sweet time, your pain will soon be gone. You've been around, what did you see? Shy soul, confide in me. Must you hide in your mystery? Shy soul. So now open up to me, yeah.
What do you think? Kind of a, we just, I don't know. It's one of those where had such an eclectic thing, but we also didn't. It was like genre defying in some ways, but then it was all us. I don't know. I don't know how to pin it down. But what'd you think about that one? That was Shy Soul. It was so sad. So sad that people are shy. And, I was a shy person until you put me on stage with a bass. And then I was like, I don't care. And a lot of the live stuff, I think, was better than the stuff we recorded because we fed off the audience like some crazy Hendrix song. Yeah, right. And Brian Hardwick, the guitar player, super creative, just so he liked the Cult, the people who did Firewoman. He liked Jimmy, he liked Frank Zappa, he liked Rush, he liked and he just all these, and he was more of a southern rock kind of thing, as was his kind of, he wanted to have that, but he also wanted to have something. I was more into the wanting to be, complex, and he wanted it to have feeling. And so it really made a weird combination with bass and drums of, here's this hillbilly bass player just trying to do the most complicated things he could possibly think of. I mean, I'm going to go get my bass real quick. I'm not going to plug it in or anything, but I'm going to go get it, just kind of noodle for a second. I'll be right back. Just opened my bass case upside down and backwards somehow. But basically, let's see. Yeah, that's something like what I was doing back in the day. At least that's the way I remember it. Not being plugged in, it kind of sounds weird because when I tap, both sides of the strings reverberate at the same amount of things. Yeah, it's a 5-string. This is a Hartfield DR5, and this I believe this one was made 1989. Was this one? It's a Japanese company that made these for Fender. Yeah, fun times. Anyway, yeah, just some. That was that two-handed tapping. See if I can mute it. Nah, can't really. It was something like that. But yeah, big juicy bass. This is my favorite bass in the whole wide world. Look how far apart the strings are. But then you look here, and it's this super thin neck. I mean, that thing is so thin compared to, a lot of like, especially like the Fender jazz bass and precision bass. Those have this, baseball bat of a neck. This thing is super thin comparatively, but then wide across the frets. Just this. It's a graphite neck, so that's how they were able to do it. This thing, I mean, I just pulled it out of the bass case upside down and backwards, and I'm still in pretty good tune just because it was a $1,000 bass on sale in 1989, so it's pretty high quality active electronics. Just a really cool instrument. And this B string. Anyway, so I just wanted to kind of show you that two-handed tapping thing that I had going in that song. Right. It's got to be, and the way you play a bass, if you want to do it correctly, you don't hold it like a baseball bat. You don't hold it like this. Don't do that. That's bad. You put your thumb back here, and then you brace, and it's like you're basically pinching, putting the neck in a pinch. So it's an awesome little thing. I love that bass, man. I'll never get rid of that bass. Bury me with that thing, or give it to my grandson when I'm gone. I mean, never, never, never gonna give it up. Never gonna let it down. Well, I let it down all the time, actually, but never gonna. Well, I don't know. I might get another bass if I ever do anything with bass again. Anyway. Yeah, you get so much more power from this, and so much more precision if you're holding it like this. With your thumb braced against the back, you can really bend, or you can do whatever you want to do. And this way, it kind of, if your thumb's wrapped around one, you might mute your E string. If you got it up on the side, then you're not getting the against it, and I learned that from upright, where you have to have a on it. When I was playing an orchestra, you've got to have, with those big metal strings and those, giant string gap between it and the neck, you've got to have some, really serious oomph behind it. And so yeah, that's a definite. It's hard to break the habit of doing it the other way, but it's definitely worth breaking that habit, because once you do, you just feel it. You can feel how much quicker you can be moving around, and how much power you can put into your tones. You can really hold that string down and really pinch it, and give yourself a much purer, more pure tone. Puree? No, I don't know. Hell. Anyway, back to the thing. We've got a couple more. This is Sorrow Sun. Now, this one was written by Jason Swetnam. Lyrics and the guitar part, he was really, him and Brian were playing together and trying to really, come up. But he showed Brian this, and then Brian kind of perfected the guitar part of it. It was, this was one of those, I don't know, kind of pretty, it's another weird one. So let's jump in. You're running blind.
Free your mind. The sorrow son, you're gonna die. You're gonna die. Watch out for those tears, baby, that are gonna make you cry. I'll close all those floodgates, make your river run dry. You're buying time, you're running blind. Free your mind, yeah. The sorrow sun is
Gonna die. So yeah, not as pretty as I remember, but still pretty cool. Had some bass harmonics in it, had some good riffs in it, some good bass runs, some good dual, guitar bass coordination. Some really good that. That was one thing that he always, the guitar player always wanted to do. Is like, hey, could you do this? I always wanted to try, so triplet, and yeah, just fun times. Whenever we were writing these, and yeah, I'm going to tell you, we dressed it up a lot from where Jason Swetnam brought it to us. Yeah, I mean there's a lot of weirdness, but yeah, his voice, man, he just had this such a bluesy, soulful voice, and that was what we originally had, a female singer that sounded so much like Janice. I had never heard Janice, and then me and Bobby McGee, and I was listening to we played that song because she was like, I sound like Janice. I was like, okay, I don't know who Janice is, whatever. I'd heard of her, but I didn't know anything. And so then I heard that song because I was trying to learn how to play it. I was just like, whoa, she does sound like that, and just so powerful. So we always attracted these really soulful, powerful vocalists to come and jam with us, and we actually brought Jason from Little Rock. We were down there, and checking out. We were. She left, and we were like, man, we need another singer, because she went off to go do alternative lifestyle things, and we were like, okay, have fun with that. Yeah. And then we brought him down, and he just freaking ruled. I wish we had some of the stuff. At that point, we weren't the Mighty Kind with her. I think we were called the Imaginary Friends. And so we put a tape out, and I can't find that tape anywhere, man. I can't find it anywhere. I don't know where it's at. It's just, and there was only like 5 copies of it made, and I know that my mom had one, and so when I moved up here, I tore the house apart looking for it. I don't know if she tossed it or if it just kind of found its way into a box that I haven't unearthed yet. But anyway, the last one from 1996. Oh, this is the one that Jason wrote. Okay, Sorrow Son. Lyrics were written by him. Guitar part was written by that. The last one was written by us, but the Sweet Heaven is the one that he did all the way. So let's jump in and listen to the Sweet Heaven, and it's about as sweet and heavenly as you'd expect.
When I was a child, my life had been lived through. All the people didn't know what to do. Feel that pain, your baby's cry. Tears run down as I wave goodbye. Tears run down as I wave goodbye. Last time she lost her soul, wondering fear. Like when we came, no, I couldn't see or hear. Put in yourself, baby, now in your shoes. Don't you know it's the hardest thing to do, yeah? Don't you know it's the hardest thing to do? And whoa, never, my river will run and my dreams, well, my dreams, they will flow through them. Oh, yeah, yeah. Try to call you baby on my golden saxophone. Knocked on the door, but your soul wasn't home. Living to die is the hardest thing. But in the end, do you know who to blame? Yeah. In the end, do you know who to blame? No, no, yeah, baby. Uh-huh. Hey. And what's together? My river will run and my dreams, well, my dreams, they will flow through them. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that sound was awesome. Man, he had a Telecaster, and that thing sounded just. He was running it through this little Fender Twin. Just sounded so good. I mean, it was just such a great tone to that telly. It was yeah. I mean, it was one of those great things. You know, just the and whenever he went clean, tellies are really good for a clean tone and not as awesome for a distortion. So, you know, but we played mostly distorted. I don't know. I don't understand. But man, when we did, there were a couple of clean songs that were awesome. So that was 1996. So now we'll go over here, and this is from 2006, and the guitar player got really rich doing oil things, made a whole lot of money, and said, "Hey Brad, I'm going to get you and Paul together." He couldn't find Jason, so we got us together, and he wrote 3 songs, and he paid for us for 4 days in the studio to record these 3 songs. And we did one song one day, one song the next day, third song third day, and then fourth day was mixing. And so first I'm going to play the best recording that I have, and this is from that session of my bass solo. And basically this was 2 takes on this bass solo. So, but this is a bass solo that I started, the core of it, most of it came from when I was 16 years old. Just picked up the bass. I started playing bass when I was about 15. And so I wrote this bass solo because, of course I did. I was, that's the kind of bass player I was. Bass solo, hell yeah. Everybody else is like, oh, bass players lay back in the cut. I'm like, have you heard Rush? I don't know. But anyway, this is my bass solo. Yeah, so it's looping. But yeah, that was my bass solo. The harmonic part came later. That was a later addition, but the tap part and the that other part, that was all, yeah. Right, it's way up here on the. Anyway, they're not pinch. It's actually just tap harmonics. You know where I'm. So, yeah, fun times. Fun times. Yeah, still proud of that one. I still, that's one of those things where I'm like, yeah, that was good. That was something that I could be proud of. All this stuff, I'm pretty proud of it. I wish that I had been a little less. Yeah, it did. You're right. You're right. I mean, it's definitely, but on a bass, it's really hard without a pick to do a pinch harmonic because basically you're hitting the pick and then you're kind of, I don't know. I did. Me and guitar players, I ain't a guitar player. I'm a bass player, and so I don't know all the fanciness, but my guitar player tried to show me how he was doing it one time, and I was just like, okay, that's something I can't do. Um, Now, this is something that kind of showcases the drummer. And I played a little bit of it earlier. This is just, we called it Funky Jam because it's just me and the drummer going off. So I hope you enjoy this as well. No, it went off the rails. Just a little noodling. That was fun times. That was when he brought us back in 2006, and we hadn't played together in probably 9 years, and just I hadn't played at all in about that same amount of time. I played like 5 or 6 weekends a year with some guys that we just go jam with and have a good time. But yeah, I actually played with a dude the other day, a young guy, man. He's like 21, 22, something like that. Just a real pup, And he was just like, dude, what? I don't think I'm at your level. And I'm like, I'm old and rusty. You're better than me. And he's got a much better creative side. The stuff that he's writing is really cool as far as guitar riffs go. And so we just kind of, I just put some stuff behind it, and he's like, I didn't know how that was supposed to sound until you played it. I was like, no. But he's good. He's really good. He's a good kid. His name is Nate. He's going to go places, and I'm just want to get him some experience jamming with more people, you know, with he's played with people in the past, but I would just want to get him more used to not stopping, you know, because that's the most important thing when you're playing music. If your finger falls off, just keep going. You know, if you lose the beat, you know, turn the beat around, you know, that's a hard one to come back from. But you know, try because you know a lot of people won't even notice if it's a little boo boo. Most people don't notice, and so yeah, he's got a ways to go, but he's very talented, very creative, and so that's a great part of being a guitar player in a band. If you're a creative force, then the technical part will come. You know, just he's playing all these crazy chords that I never learned on a guitar and doing all this, and I'm just like, good job. You know, he knows a lot more about, but he doesn't understand anything about the music theory part of it. And so that's another thing that I'm trying to, you know, at least get him to know the relationships, you know, thirds and fourths and fifths, and how these things go together, and how, you know, the third determines whether it's major or minor, and, you know, all these different things. And, you know, he's got a lot to learn, but he's, man, like I say, super creative. So now, this is one that the guitar player wrote in 2006, and this is one of the ones that he brought us down there to record. This one's called Uphill Battle, and you know, this is one that it's his. This is his song. I can't even take credit for the bass line because I played it, but I didn't write it. So here we go.
You can hold your mind's attention, and you can pour over grass and charge, and you can hold your court of public opinion, and you can just hold down your voice. You can't talk, you can't hear, and you can't see the way. You can't love and you can't feel and you can't run away. You can't lie, you can't steal and you can't make a pay. It's always an uphill battle, always the same.
That's me in the back. as you can tell, we had a much better studio that we were playing that we recorded that in, and we actually had an engineer that knew what he was doing, and did a really great job mixing and throwing everything together. So yeah, I mean, it sounds a lot better, but once again, I'm less proud of that than I am the old ratty sounding stuff, because I had less participation in it, in the creation. You know, I played the song, but I didn't make the song. Yeah, just a really weird, you know, once again, he's really, the guitar player is really good. And he's just such a good picker, you know, and not like a country picker, but kind of, you know, it just does some really interesting chord choices and structures. Yeah, I like that one. Go ahead and jump on to the next one. This one's called Divided Highway. And another one that he wrote and provided me with, you know, hey, Brad, listen to this, and this is what I want you to do. Some of it I ad-libbed, I mean, you know, as you do, but most of this was him saying, okay, this is really what I want to happen.
Remember the words, what you said, what it meant to me then. Said my feelings of deep regret, where it all began. Hear the humming of the road that lay before me. The darkness of the toad, it's symphony. Feeling the truth again, letting you down. Not half of my life. No, I know my wrong from my right. Yet I'm always misguided. Echoes ringing from the stone, pulling me apart. I feel the coldness of alone. It pours from my heart. See the blurring of the line. They speed by me. Realize the scene of my crime. Is it justify me? Fear
Yeah, for sure. Homeboy was going through some things. Yeah, definitely not as happy as the older stuff. Well, we were all 10 years older. We had all aged 10 years and put a lot of things behind us and put a lot of miles. I'd been married for 10 years at that point. He was about to get married, or had just gotten married. I can't remember. And he was going through some stuff. He had a lot of money, but money doesn't always fix your problems. And sometimes money amplifies what you already were. And so if you're having troubles in life, then with yourself, then that's going to be, oh yeah, that solo, man. Oh, that wah going on. Oh, like I say, man, dude was a machine. Dude had that feel. He had that feel locked down. And me, I was more, okay, how do I theorize this? What do I throw behind this as a counterpoint to all this? And so I thought it always, I was always hoped that it would, kind of get this balance of things going, this balance of logic and emotion, that would kind of float around. But yeah, he's a very good dude's a yeah, it can be. If you go through life with just emotions, you're gonna have problems. So, but yeah, feel can be dangerous because how do you know that your feel is going to resonate with anybody else? And so that was. I've said it many times. The bass player's job is to take the rhythm of the drums and the melody of the guitar, the harmonies and melodies and the whatever it is, the musical side of it, let's say, and then the rhythmic side, and you're the bridge between those. You stick with the rhythm, but you also tie that with in the same notes and in the same keys and all that kind of thing as the lead instruments, the melodic instruments. So you're taking these melodies and tying that to the drums. Your job is to do both. The guitar player can be totally detached from the rhythm as long as, not totally, but well, actually they can be. They can just go whatever, during a solo or whatever. And as long as you are in the middle, they're, kind of keeping a hand on both of them, with, okay, here's where we're going melodically and this is what we're doing rhythmically. It'll sound good. It'll sound better than it would if you weren't there. So that's always been my thoughts on bass. And another thing is, like I was saying, with the logic and emotion, is also tying that together. Because our drummer was a very John Bonham style drummer. That was his drum god. Yeah, he liked Neil Peart, but John Bonham was his guy. I mean, after he left The Mighty Kind, he went on to tour Texas and Oklahoma and all over the place in a Led Zeppelin cover band, and they kicked it, man. They were so good, and he did that for several years, just murdering on tour with these guys, that were doing Led Zeppelin covers. So there's one more, and this will be it for the moment. If you guys want to talk some more, we can. My grandson will be getting home in about half an hour, so he'll probably come in and throw a monkey wrench in everything when he gets here, but that's okay. There's no monkey wrench that I'd rather get hit by. So this one's called "Headed to Dallas," and it's kind of a, I don't know, man. It's a little bit snobby. I mean, you don't lie, but it's okay. And we're gonna call this. He called this "Headed to Dallas," and then that'll be the last song of the day, unless you say, hey, I want to hear that one again. Then, of course, since it's me and you, Mud Shark, I don't know if anybody else is even here with us. But yeah, we'll listen to this one, and then we'll do whatever. So let's do it. Headed to Dallas.
Whenever I bring myself down to Dallas, you know I always overdo it. And if I could just make my stand with any prowess, then I'd probably do it. But I always feel these vibrations emanating from the city walls. It lulls us into a false sense of celebration. Then it laughs as we all fall.
Almost.
I can always find my way home without paying a toll. And I don't mind sitting at a red light as long as I've got someplace to go. And now that I know that you're here.
And that was me in the background. Background vocals. Woo! Kinda country, you know?
I don't spend much time south of Beltline. No, it's just too busy for me. $30,000 millionaire, silicone and bleach blonde hair, riding in SUV. So we'll occasionally venture out to the 214, to a place as nice as it can be. Sipping on a cold beer at the Timeout Tavern. You were making eyes at me. I can always find my way home without paying a toll.
And I don't mind sitting at a red light.
As long as I've got someplace to go. And now that I know that you're here, now I don't feel so alone. I can always find my way home without paying a toll. And I don't mind sitting at a red light as long as I've got someplace to go. And now that I know that you're here.
Yeah, so definitely a different whole feel to that one. That's definitely a different whole thing. Yeah, a lot more laid back, like you say, just really different. It's. And he sent me some stuff the other day. I hadn't heard from him in like 10 years, man. And he called me out of the blue. This is after the drummer had called me out of the blue after 10 years. And was like, hey, man, I miss you, brother. And I'm like, man, I miss you too. And then, we had about an hour and a half conversation on the phone. Then Brian called about 2 weeks after that, and we had about an hour and a half conversation, and sent me some stuff to listen to. And yeah, he's definitely, mellowed with age. He's got teenage kids now. He's got, and mine are all gone. Well, they're not gone. They're all over 20 now. My youngest is 21 years old. So, talk about feeling like an old man. There you go. That's how you feel like an old man when you say, hey, the baby that was my baby is now old enough to drink. Yeah, that'll make you feel old. But he's definitely mellowed with age, and so I was hoping that 2016 we'd do it again. Because we recorded in '96, and then 2006, and if we'd have done it in 2016, man, that would have been awesome. Just come down and jam out. But in 2016, his wealth had issues, and yeah. So hopefully 2026, we'll see what we can do. Get together and put some fingers to some strings. But yeah, I hope you liked all that, man. Or at least even if you didn't like it, that you had a good time listening. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys, the people who come and listen to my reactions and all that stuff. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, oh, the blue, that blue, that's the song Blue, our instrumental. No, it was, I was a janitor in an elementary school, and I strapped my camera to the top of my broom, just on top of where the broom was, and I just, I just did a run of me sweeping the floor. I was like, I need some kind of video background to put this on. So I got an old flip video camera. I don't know if it's around here, wherever it's at, but it failed. It ceased to function here recently. But it's just this little square video camera, and I rigged it on there with a rubber band and just pushed it along the hall. I just swept the floor with it while the camera was rolling. We had a time when there wasn't any kids in the hall, So, yeah, it was, fun times. That sometimes my, what would you say? The necessity of, not really inspiration, but just like, what kind of video am I gonna do? What kind of, what's going on here? So that was, what I chose as the background, just like, oh, okay, well, let's do that. But, yeah, so that's the extent of the Mighty Kind, that was ever recorded. We probably had 4 or 5 more, songs put together after that, that, never saw the light of day or never got recorded. We played them live a bunch, because that's what we were doing. We were going out every weekend and trying to find a gig and playing open mics and just going out and doing our thing. Yeah, fun times. So yeah, that was a good walk down memory lane for me, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Is there anything you'd like to hear, or anything you want to talk about, fellers, fellettes, humans? One human at least. I'm hoping I find a job. I really am. But it's hard right now for me. I'm so anxious about finding a job and about working. That last good job that I had, it broke me. I ain't gonna lie. It's hard now to even contemplate going and getting a real job. The one that I had there for a while, I was just cleaning up and arranging and doing whatever they need me to do at this retro shop place, and that was all under the table and sketchy, but he's a good dude, and that was about it. And I thought, man, this is just what I need. And it was, and it would be, but he doesn't have the work for me anymore. That guitar player that I was talking about earlier, Nate, he came back from college and they'd had a relationship for a long time. He'd worked there for 2 years, and he started giving most of my hours to Nate, or they're not my hours. Most of the hours that he had available, he started giving it to the kid, and then I wasn't left out in the cold, but it ended at the end of last year, and now we're super struggling, But I'll make it. Hell, I ain't gonna let this take me down. I'm gonna be 51 years old in 11 days. 51. Who would have thought that I'd have made it? Back in my 20s when I was a wasted rock ranger trying to live a life of danger and on the road to find a higher high, I would have thought I was going to be in the 27 club. And maybe if I hadn't got married and had kids, I would have been, because, yeah, I was definitely on a path that would have led that direction. I was, too far gone to see myself when I met my wife, or the one that would. So you're going to be 56, or you are 56? Yeah. Cool, man. Cool. So you're actually born in the 60s. Yeah. That was a better time to be born than the 70s. I don't know. It's all better than being born now, I think. I feel sorry for these kids and my kids and my grandkids, and I worry about them. The world's just so different with now that everything's online all the time. I mean, shoot, I went to a job earlier and they're like, yeah, you have to apply online. I'm like, I shaved my face, shaved off my mustache and my beard, and now here I am, and can you imagine doing the things that we did in our teens and 20s? Now, you couldn't do it. You just couldn't do it, because you'd be on blast, as they say. There'd be pictures and videos of you doing stupid stuff. One of my party tricks was I'd take my underwear off without taking my pants off. Yeah. So, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and sign off here, guys. It's been fun. We listened to all the old stuff from The Mighty Kind. I really appreciate you hanging out. So, you know, throw me a line sometime. I'll do this again. Probably with a different band or something different. I'll do something different next time. But y'all are awesome. I appreciate you greatly. Thank you so much for joining me. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace. Oh, thank you, Mud Shark. You're awesome.